There, they beat Utah yesterday, and to our surprise, it is not Catherine Sandercock, the All-American. It will be McKenna Reed making the 4th start of her season. But boy, has she been good. About as dominant a relief pitcher as there's been in college softball this year. Still, she'll get the first crack at the Washington lineup. Bailey Klingler takes one up and in, and we are underway at 6:06 on a sticky Saturday night from Oklahoma City. June 3rd, 2023, day 3 of the World Series. It is an 81-degree evening at first pitch. That's up and in from McKenna Reed. Gets the settle down look from Michaela Edenfield. It's a deep Florida State staff. It shouldn't be too much of a surprise when Lonnie Alameda changes plans, but this is a heck of a spot for McKenna Reed to make only the 4th start of her career.
And they keep giving her starts and against some very good teams. Think about her first start that she had this year, Kevin. It was against Clemson. She told us how excited she was to get that start and called her dad and how nervous she was for that start. And that was a regular season game. I can't imagine how she feels for this start, her first Women's College World Series start and innings.
Our head coach Lonnie Alameda showing faith in Reed from the get-go. Game 2 of this World Series.
Ball.
And that's a 4-pitch walk to start, just off the plate for Bailey Klingler. And the All-American first baseman for the Huskies is aboard on 4 straight balls.
Yeah, and what McKenna Reed does so well is, of course, she's coming from the left-hand side, so she gives a very different look than what Washington probably expected to see from a right-handed Cat Sandercock, who's more down in the zone.
She just issued her first 4-pitch walk of the season. The pressure on this stage just a little bit different. Now Sammy Reynolds. Reynolds squares to bunt. Reynolds takes a strike as called by Robbie Guest, tonight's plate umpire. Tom Meyer, Don Brown, and Ron Burkhart fill out our 4-man crew. From Snohomish, Washington, Sammy Reynolds. 433 on base, second best for the Huskies. Second in average, hits, doubles, all behind Klingler.
Ball.
So they put their top 2 hitters right at the beginning of the lineup. Washington, 2 of the 5th-year seniors. Reynolds, one of a handful of players who was here the last time Washington made the Women's College World Series in 2019.
And going up against McKenna Reed, we've yet to talk about what she really throws, but she just has an incredible rise ball. Lots of upspin. She likes to live more up in the zone. It's going to be up to Washington hitters to see the ball down. This is her heat map where she gets the majority of her swings and misses. That red area is where she gets the most. You see that's more up in the zone because of that rise ball. She likes to live there. Washington will need to see how far up top she can get a called strike and try to see the ball down.
Reed will try to go up again. That's hit well but pulled foul by Reynolds. One of 4 left-handed batters in this lineup. Hard to imagine Heather Tarr made this lineup thinking she'd face a lefty. But McKenna Reed does get the ball for Florida State. And knowing Lonnie Alameda, there may be 3 pitchers used in this game. There'll certainly be 2 at least. Almost never have a pitcher go the full 7, Florida State.
Actually, when you look at the numbers against Reed, lefties bat about 60 points higher off of her than right-handed hitters. Righties batting 112 on the year, lefties batting 177.
All adds up to 131 against the freshman, as there is Heather Tarr. Year 19 at Washington. A 2-2. Reynolds drives it into center field. Janai Kerr is there for the sinking line drive.
And because McKenna Reed likes to throw more up in the zone, Kevin, with that rise ball, she'll get a lot of fly ball outs when you look at her batted ball profile. Only 32% on the ground, close to 70% in the air. Because of that rise ball, oftentimes hitters get underneath it. It can be tricky, though, because when you live up there, oftentimes create some more home runs.
Has only allowed 4 this season, but this is a Washington team with some big power hitters. One of them right here, Madison Husky, with her 11 home runs. And Husky goes up top for a rise ball and pops it up to Kaylee Harding at third.
It's been fun to watch this freshman for Florida State this year, and really how Lonnie Alameda has utilized her entire pitching staff. I'm sure if you're a softball fan, you know about the All-American and Kat Sandercock, and she is still their ace. But watching Lonnie Alameda just really start to master using an entire pitching staff. They've used 7 different pitchers this year. Reed, the freshman, getting this start, being a big part of that.
Jadlyn Alchin now, another lefty to take a high strike one. Alchin making only her 25th start of the season, but she's come on. Her slugging percentage of .616 is the second best on the roster, and she's hit a couple of home runs in this NCAA tournament. 0-2.
McKenna Reed, too, just so good with 2 strikes this year. Opponents hitting about .060 off of her.
Player of the year in the state of Oregon as a senior. Came a heck of a long way. Tallahassee, Florida, by way of Portland, Oregon. The 5'9" freshman trying to get rid of Alchin. And that's too tall. Six straight seniors to begin the starting lineup for Heather Tarr's Huskies, who went 44-13, finished second in the Pac-12 at 16-8. 4th World Series trip in the last 6 tournaments. Alchin into short right field, and the diving play by Waycaser is made. Hallie Waycaser all out to grab it. Harding, mix of youth and experience for a Florida State team that will face Ruby Malin, and that means it's a freshman versus a freshman in the circle today.
Yeah, how about that? The Women's College World Series. We're seeing the future of this sport in the circle. Ruby Malin likes to go north and south, so she'll throw a lot of drop balls, get some ground ball outs, and she throws hard with good velocity at 71 miles an hour. Against Utah, she went to that drop a lot, and oftentimes that drop ball will have a little bit of curve to it. But when you really look at her heat map and these swings and misses that she gets the most on is more up in the zone in that red area with her rise ball. She's a more north and south pitcher. Rise, drop, a little bit of change, but you see that rise ball can be the most deadly and get the most swings and misses.
Malin, the freshman, a 3rd-team All-American out of Omaha, Nebraska. And she will face Kaylee Mudge.
Ball.
World Series superstar Kaylee Mudge, who on Thursday night had a couple of hits, including a home run. 2 years ago led Florida State to Game 3 of the Champ Series with a World Series record 14 hits. Mudge, Kerr, and Harding against Malin to start. And a 2-0 count, a little bit down and out according to Robbie Guest. Seen a little more power for Kaylee this season. 17 doubles, 3 triples, so 25 extra base hits for Mudge. Kaylee Mudge was a part-time starter 2 years ago, only jumped into the lineup late in the season and then went on an absolute tear. 14 out of 28 in that World Series. Florida State would win Game 1 of the Champ Series but lose in 3 to Oklahoma. A miraculous run as the 10 seed all the way to the final. That bunt here is a fair ball, and Mudge is thrown out. The catcher, Sydney Stewart, makes the play for UW.
Now batting center fielder number 4, Janai Kerr.
On a way that will bring up Janai Kerr. On the roster 2 years ago when Florida State made it to the World Series. but had to sit out all but 4 games of that season after suffering a torn ACL.
Ball.
And then, of course, that we all went through COVID before that. So it was a tough couple of years for her to start off her Florida State career. But when we did get a chance to see her play early on before that torn ACL, she had so much pop on the left-hand side. I love to watch her play. Some speed, power, such a beautiful mix.
Ball. That's on.
Such a drastic jump from a year ago for Janai Kerr as well. Took her some time to get her legs back under her to recover fully from that torn ACL. She played last year but wasn't able to be at 100%. Average this year has jumped 100 points. The OPS has risen 251 points. 2-1.
Behind on that hitter's count right there. Ruby Malin throws with good velocity. 71, 70 miles an hour. I mean, we saw Carlin Pickens earlier today hitting 75, 76 against OU. Same with Nyjah Kennedy whenever she faced Oklahoma.
Kerr slaps it to third, and a drawn in Espinoza. Silent rain Espinoza, the Husky third baseman, makes the play.
Talked about all those bases that Florida State likes to steal and how they like to take extra bases and put runners in motion. Makes for a really interesting matchup with how good this Washington defense is, in particular their infield. They'll be tested today, but so fundamentally sound.
After 2 outs, Lance Glasso will come out to the circle. He's going to talk to his catcher, Stewart, first. In fact, he'll leave Ruby Malin alone. What do you think this is about after 8 pitches?
I think he's talking to her about some of these drop balls that Ruby is throwing and how they're not getting called for a strike. I have a feeling that that's what that conversation was about. So, freshman battery that we have here for Washington, and maybe giving her a few little cues to help get a few more of those pitches called strikes.
When's the last time you saw the pitching coach make a visit and not speak to the pitcher? 2 down, Kaylee Harding.
Ball.
Kaylee Harding has started at 7 different positions this year, including designated player. And she has settled in as the starting third baseman. The only Seminole to start all 66 games this year.
Ball.
Stewart didn't get that one.
Can see Ruby Malin just trying to figure out where the strike zone is, and Florida State, known too to be a very disciplined team, will take their walks, know what pitch they're looking for. Very good understanding and awareness of the strike zone.
Harding off the glove of the shortstop Holdorf and into left field. Riley Holtorf got to it, couldn't squeeze it, and it's a base hit for Kaylee Harding in the Florida State first.
Kaylee Harding is definitely looking for something to hit in this hitter's count. A drop ball that just stays flat. Recognizes that that pitch stays up in the zone, and it just hits off of Holtorf's glove. She was playing a little bit more up the middle of the field. Bounces off of it, and that was a sweet swing by Harding. That's exactly the type of hitter that she is. She can punish mistakes like that.
Well, in Florida State's opening game of the World Series, Kaylee Harding got on first with 2 outs, and Michaela Edenfield drove her in.
Ball.
Hit a long home run after the walk against Kelly Maxwell. All sorts of rumors and numbers circulating about how long that ball traveled. It was a gargantuan distance to the eye. And Edenfield with her 12th home run of the year. And she takes aim at a pitch up and away here.
Yeah, got her swing off of Kelly Maxwell, a rise ball that was trying to make its way up and in on her hands, and it stayed flat. And that kiss was actually sent up to her grandpa, that she said in post-game.
Grandfather Roy, who passed away a couple of years ago before she left for college, said he was her biggest fan. When she hits it, you better watch out in the stands. She has been measured back in high school at 300 feet for a home run. She's been measured in high school at a 70-mile-per-hour throw from behind the plate. She's only a sophomore. And the scary thing is, Lonnie Alameda says she really played high-level volleyball growing up, not high-level softball. Edenfield takes a called third strike, and the inning is over. Never mind the throw down. Malin gets the strikeout. I'm not sure she realizes it yet. Now she does, and she will flip the softball down for something bigger than themselves this year. For more on that story, here's Courtney Lyle.
Yeah, Kevin and Amanda, I think it's so special when these women that play the sport that we all love use their platform to bring happiness and joy to others, and that's exactly what this Washington softball team in the middle of the season, they went to the Seattle Children's Hospital and they brought a gift with them. They asked the patients there, they all teamed up with a different child and had them decorate cleats that they've been wearing throughout the season, and some of the players have those cleats on today. So special, and I know the softball players got so much out of that, but so did the young children that they got to visit with. And how cool is this, guys? Olivia Vitello, 11 years old. She is one of the children that helped decorate these cleats for the Washington softball team. Well, her mom thought it was important that she come see them in the World Series. So there is Olivia. She is here cheering on her Washington Huskies as they wear the special cleats she helped decorate.
That is that's pretty special. Hard not to get emotional seeing that, and to see the amazing impact the Huskies have had on those kids, and that these kids have had on the Husky players too. Just constantly blown away by the young women in this sport, the way they use their platform as role models.
And as the coverage grows more and more with our sport, more fans watch, you start to see just more impact come out. We get to hear about it. It's been happening, but now we get to hear about it even more.
Love the purple pom-poms Olivia's got on her head as well. She'll be loud and proud in the Husky cheering section today. Kelly Lynch batting against McKenna Reed takes a strike.
Guys, I did get to talk to Olivia before the game, and I said, Olivia, who's your favorite Husky? And she said, well, you know, Bailey and Sammy and Riley and Silent Rain. I just love all of them.
I think that's half the roster. They only have 17 players.
Yeah.
Kelly Lynch, another one of those great Huskies, batting here in the second. And Lynch goes up to get a rise ball from the freshman McKenna Reed right into the Washington section. Silent Rain Espinoza will follow, then Riley Holtorf, 5'6", for the Washington Huskies. Lynch had a couple of hits in the opener against Utah, a 4-1 Washington win. Huskies gave up the first run, then came back with the next 4. And Lynch drives this one into shallow left center field. Janai Kerr puts her away. Olivia cheer no matter what. That's the biggest smile in the ballpark right there.
Actually looks like, Kevin, not sure exactly what the call was, but I think Kelly Lynch is going to be called back. Potential illegal pitch called by the umpires. So Kelly Lynch will not be out. She'll get another opportunity at the plate.
Lonnie Alameda just got an explanation, and indeed, Robbie Guest has just flashed a 1-2 count.
You can see if possibly she steps out of the pitching lane. Only thing I can think of right now.
Christy Cornwell, our rules analyst, is here. Christy, what do you see there?
Yeah, what we have here is she's resetting her stride foot. That's her back right foot. Once she sets that foot down, she can't move it. You can see that little slight movement to her left. That's the illegal pitch.
All right, perfect, Christy. Thank you. And one pitch later, Reed does get that out. 6-3 ground out.
Yeah, so sometimes pitchers will like to kind of slide that step forward. It can be a bit of a bad habit that they get into from pitching indoors. I see it mainly for when pitchers pitch indoors. They like to slide that foot forward to get a better push off, and sometimes it ends up playing a part whenever they come out into the game. But
Reed does well to work around it.
Ball.
And throws ball one to Silent Rain Espinoza.
And the thing is, too, when you look at her footwork, and in particular her right foot, so she's a left-handed pitcher, her right foot will be back behind her, and wherever she starts with that back foot, like where it is right now, that is when she goes into her pitch, that's where it has to stay. See, it moved a few inches. That could be it as well.
Into right field, a base hit. Espinoza has the first Husky hit.
Goes up and gets this rise ball, and you can tell that's their approach at the plate, is just try to stay on top of that pitch. And of course, Olivia loves seeing that first Husky hit, just willing that ball to get down. Dogs ain't done.
Lonnie Alameda's out to the circle. Let's see. Yep, that's going to be all for McKenna Reed. And here comes Kat Sandercock. So this is the Florida State way. They use an opener here in Reed for 6 batters, and now turn to the All-American Sandercock.
Rise ball, as she has gone on, that rise ball and that up with her swings and misses has developed more and more and more.
Silent Rain Espinoza had a hit. Riley Holtorf is the batter. And Holtorf fouls the first pitch away. There's a reason Florida State made the switch now, because Riley Holtorf, the batter you see here, absolutely destroys left-handed pitchers. An OPS, that's on-base plus slugging, of 1462. That's the second best OPS against lefties of anybody in the World Series field, only behind Kiki Malloy. So Reed gets the first 6 batters, and Sandercock comes in for the right-hander Holtorf, who only has an OPS of 813 against righties.
Well, I think, too, the first 6 hitters that McKenna Reed faced, she wasn't getting any swings and misses. And when McKenna Reed is on and her ball is moving, she's throwing with good velocity, she's at about a 30% clip. And when she's not getting those swings and misses, that's a cue for Lonnie Alameda to make the change.
Didn't get a single swing and miss today. And now Sandercock gets Holtorf to dribble one out of play. Riley Holtorf had a huge day in the opening round yesterday. That game was pushed back to yesterday. Supposed to be Thursday night. 3 hits, a home run, drove in 3. The rest of the Huskies combined for just 4 hits.
Game made the adjustment and good at the plate late in the game.
You're going to see a lot of that against Kat Sandercock. It's a drop ball that typically plays in the high 60s up to 70, 71. She's added velocity as her career has gone on. Her location has added a little bit of sharpness. She really paces herself in between pitches. She is in command of the game, Kat Sandercock, whenever she's out there. That's grounded fair. It's stuck inside the bag by Holtorf. Espinoza's going to hold at second. The throw is airmailed, but Edenfield backs it up. So Riley Holtorf is able to keep a drop ball fair, and the Huskies have back-to-back hits.
Yeah, Riley Holtorf is just battling at the plate. All of her at-bats here in Oklahoma City, and gets a drop ball that just stays out more over the plate. That just was not on a corner, and She hit the top of it and was able to sneak it past Kaylee Harding. Holtorf, though, protecting with 2 strikes, making the most of it, fouling off a few pitches to get there.
How about a 4-for-4 start to the World Series for Holtorf? Kinsey Fiedler now with a couple of runners on. And Fiedler with a first pitch foul tip. Just her second start in this NCAA tournament, Fiedler. She's played in 5 games. She's 0 for 5 with a strikeout. Average and on base percentage are up from a year ago, though. .408 on base. And does have some sneaky pop. Fiedler drives it on the ground to Mac Leonard at first, who gets the out there. Espinosa to third, Holtorf to second, 2 down in the inning.
I mean, Mac Leonard did everything she could to knock that ball down. Good reactions. That ball was absolutely smoked and would have scored a run for Washington, but instead, FSU gets an out.
Catcher number 24, Sydney Stewart.
And now the 9-hitter, Sydney Stewart. Stewart, first pitch swinging and not close. You better get Sid Stewart out if you're Kat Sandercock, because there's an All-American waiting. Bailey Klingler, who has an on-base percentage nearing .490. Stewart's on base, though, .417. She set the table well at the bottom of the order.
Ball, 3-1.
Well, I'm really liking Washington's approach early in this game, first time through, no matter if it's against Reed or Sandercock. I feel like the swings that Washington is putting on these pitches, they have an approach, they are locked in. Maybe the worst swing is that Sydney Stewart, just big swing and miss on that first pitch of the AB, but looking good at the plate.
It's their first swing and miss of the game, that one from Stewart. And a big home run in game 1 against Louisiana. We showed you that in the opener, second of the season. The only freshman in the batting order, working with a freshman pitcher in Malin. Try to take on Kat Sandercock, a senior with a record of 106-11. 2-2.
It's one thing, too, that you notice about Kat Sandercock's numbers is that with runners in scoring position, she steps up. Opponents hitting just 128 off of her with runners in scoring position compared to 181 on the year.
And she is a contact pitcher. She'll strike you out in a big moment, too. And she hits Stewart. Sydney Stewart takes it off the knee and limps down to first. And that loads the bases for Bailey Klingler. Stewart trying to walk it off with Kyle Novak, the first base coach, after this.
Yeah, this ends up getting right inside of her back knee. That hurts. Remember, she's a catcher, so she's pretty tough.
Yeah. That's the ultimate take one for the team right there.
Yeah.
Well, you wanted an All-American battle, and you got it, folks. Klingler and Sandercock with the bases juiced. Klingler first pitch swinging right at Waycaser. Oh man, what a chance for the Huskies, who strand them all. What's he doing here?
Well, he wanted to see you. Apparently, he drove over 1,600 miles or flew on. I'm not sure
he
which.
definitely drove. He took the wheel from Franklin, Massachusetts.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's great to see you, Jake. That's
so
awesome.
Cute.
Unless there's another Kevin Brown I don't know about. Could be. Devin Flaherty starts off the second inning with a foul ball.
Leading off for Florida State, second baseman number 9, Devin Flaherty.
Flaherty, Leonard Waycaser against Ruby Malin after Florida State escaped that second inning with the bases loaded on a line out to right from Bailey Klingler. Some good at-bats for the Huskies early, nothing to show for it. And now the very experienced Devin Flaherty, part of Florida State's run to the Champ Series in 2021. He's had a really good year. 327 average. That was 362 in ACC play. Got on base about 45% of the time in conference. Only 15 strikeouts on the year for Flaherty to 35 walks. She's a tough nut for a pitcher to crack. And she stays alive there. How much does Florida State's experience matter, given they missed the World Series a year ago but made it to the Champ Series 2 years ago?
I think it matters greatly. Any experience that you have here, especially the run that they made a couple of years ago, is going to help your team feel more comfortable, confident, more at home on this field.
About half the starting lineup played here in 21. Mudge, Harding, Flaherty, Muffley, Waycaser, and Kerr were with the team but out with torn ACLs. It was a really surprising run. That was a Florida State team that did not have a great regular season. They were a pretty poor offensive team. Got the 10 seed, had to go to Baton Rouge, swept LSU, and then just kept winning here in Oklahoma City. That ball from Flaherty, soaring into the gap, into the wall, and a hop. Devin Flaherty motors into second base. A leadoff two-strike double.
What a veteran at bat by Devin Flaherty to lead off this second inning. This is a 1-2 pitch that she just is able to crush. Gets her barrel down and into this drop ball, stays in her legs. Look at how she stays down on that pitch and uses her legs to stay on that drop ball and just drove it to the fence. That was a beautiful swing for Devin Flaherty. The rest of FSU needs to feed off of that.
Florida State with a double in all but 7 games this year. They lead the nation now at a $121. Mac Leonard.
Ball.
Flaherty becomes the 6th Florida State player with a dozen doubles this season. Not a huge home run team, but they hit the gaps as well as anybody.
Kevin, you mentioned their experience at the Women's College World Series just a couple of years ago, but it does seem like when Florida State makes it here to Oklahoma City, they stick around for a while.
Yeah, the last few years it's been not here, here, not here, here. They missed out in 19. They missed out in 22. Of course, in 18 they won it all. In 21 they went to the Champ Series. So don't let Florida State get to this field is the message.
Yeah, people have definitely noticed that on-off pattern that they seem to have.
Remember 2 years ago, Florida State lost its opener here at the World Series, then soared through the losers bracket, beat Alabama twice on that semifinal day. Took a 1-0 lead in the Champ Series against Oklahoma before losing a hard-fought Game 2, and then the Sooners pulled away in Game 3. Leonard flips her bat. That one squeezes between the legs of Espinoza, and Leonard is safe at first as Flaherty holds at second, and the Noles have 2 on.
Talked about Washington's defense earlier in this game and just how they have one of the best fielding percentages in the country. And this is a pitch, it's well off the plate, and Mac Leonard just kind of gets a barrel to it, hits it more off the end of the bat, and it caused it to have a little spin. I think Silent Rain Espinosa got ahead of herself a bit, but that will go down and should go down as an error.
It's only their 28th of the season, Washington, and now 58 games. 4th in the country in fielding percentage. Waitcase, her first pitch swinging, lofted into left at Reynolds, and that's an unproductive out for Florida State, and a big first one for Malin.
Now batting for Florida State, number 77, Katie Dack.
Number 8 hitter is Katie Dack for Florida State. Flaherty and Leonard the runners. Dack, a big power hitter.
Ball.
.620 slugging percentage. That's the best mark on the team. And with runners in scoring position, she ups her average by 76 points.
Guys, Katie Dack is a transfer from Texas A&M, and Lonnie Alameda told us she had to drink from a fire hose jumping into this Florida State program because she wasn't able to join the team until January. But you know what? She stepped up big time. You mentioned her power numbers, Kevin. How about a walk-off home run on her birthday, Game 1 of regionals?
That's a better gift than money could ever buy right there. First postseason game with Florida State. Dack will get time called here.
And they had actually recruited her before too, so Lonnie Alameda and the coaching staff already had a relationship with her before she decided to transfer. Definitely knew her.
First year at A&M out of Parker, Colorado.
Ball.
Well, and because Craig Snyder was the hitting coach at Texas A&M last season, Katie Dack had a chance to work with him. And of course, Craig Snyder came from Florida State, won a national championship with them, and was on their coaching staff. So more familiarity with the Florida State program kind of made an easier transition despite it being kind of late that she got here in the spring.
Ball.
Had an opportunity to follow Craig Snyder because he ended up going to Texas Tech, taking over the head coaching job there. And it was really between Florida State and Texas Tech for her, but said Florida State was her dream school. Despite the coaching change, came to Tallahassee. And I think she's pretty happy with that decision. And a 3-1 count, Dack dribbles it foul.
Well, you gotta love it when your 8-hole hitter has 11 home runs and is one of your best hitters with runners in scoring position.
Flaherty's double started it off. Leonard reached on an error after that. Waitcase fly out, and now Dack. Right side base hit over the glove of Fiedler. Flaherty will be held at third. Katie Dack with an opposite field smack, and Florida State loads the bases in the second.
Another good at bat from Katie Dack with a runner in scoring position, and Katie Dack was able to stay down on this drop ball, let it get deep, and send it the opposite way. And Devin Flaherty had to hold up. Remember, this is a very aggressive Florida State offense. Whenever they run the bases, they like to take 2 on a hit like that because there's less than 2 outs. She had to hold up to just see if it was going to get caught in the air. So Washington kind of lucked out there because there's just 1 out. She's not running on the hit.
Sid Stewart went out to the circle there after the second hit of the inning for FSU. And now Josie Muffley, the number 9 hitter, will bat with the bases loaded. And Bailey Klingler's going to move back a little bit. She may pinch in at first, though, because Muffley is a terrific bunter. In fact, she squeezed in a run on Thursday night against Oklahoma State. So the corners are both in.
Ball.
And Muffley not showing bunt on ball 1. One of the toughest kids in college ball, Josie Muffley. Lonnie Alameda has said in the past, if she has one leg, she's going to play.
Ball.
Yeah, she played hockey growing up. I feel like that's a sport that we're hearing more and more about. Emily Young from Stanford played hockey as well.
Lance Glasso wants to chat with Ruby Malin after that ball 2 pitch. "20 pitches in the inning for Malin, who did start the game for Washington yesterday, but did not finish it. Lindsay Lopez would come in and throw the final few innings.
You can see here too how tall Sydney Stewart is, the catcher for Washington. She's 6'1". Ruby Malin is also tall. And with Ruby Malin trying to throw that drop ball a lot, Sydney Stewart, who is a taller catcher, trying to get down below that pitch, get some strikes. Heather Tarr does look like too. She's taken a moment with the home plate umpire.
All smiles in year 19, Heather Tarr. Lance Glasso has a couple of words for Robbie Guest as well. Lance with the pen under the cap and sunglasses on the cap. Look very fashionable. He's been with Heather Tarr for 13 seasons now as pitching coach. This is a terrific, detail-oriented staff.
It's a great word for them.
Muffley, ground ball, sneaks through, base hit. 1 run in, only 1 run. Leonard stopped at third, but Flaherty's in to score. Josie Muffley, the former hockey player, slaps one on the dirt, gives FSU the lead in the second.
Yeah, and if you're Josie Muffley in this situation, a 2-0 count, you know that what Ruby Malin is throwing for a strike is a drop ball. And because she didn't get the call on the pitch before, she has to bring that pitch more up in the zone. It comes more on the plate because she has to go at her. She's the 9-hole hitter. She has to give her something to hit in that situation. Josie Muffley knows it. She is a veteran, puts a good swing on it with the infield drawn in and scores Florida State's first run.
And Washington's going to make a pitching change here. In the second inning, it will be Lindsay Lopez after Ruby Malin collects just 4 outs. So both teams see their starters go 1 and a third. And Lindsay Lopez will come in to face Kaylee Mudge in a bases loaded 1-out situation.
Now pitching for Washington, number 18, Lindsay.
Well, we saw Lindsay Lopez. She was awesome against Utah yesterday. She's been terrific in the NCAA tournament. 2 earned runs, 20 2/3 in total. And her second half of the season much better after transferring in from Arizona State this year.
Yeah, she's looked really good in the circle as of late, using a lot of spin. Definitely a different look than what Ruby Malin just gave Lindsay Lopez, more of a spinner in the circle and coming from the left-hand side. And
a little bit better than a 2-to-1 strike to ball ratio in there. The Knowles are hopping and looking for a crooked number as Kaylee Mudge takes one high. Florida State really worked the count against Malin. 7 of 9 hitters took a first pitch ball. 4 hits in 9 batters against the Washington starter. And now a 2-0 for Mudge. Kaylee Mudge didn't love that strike one call, but she loves this field. 8 of the last 9 World Series games with a hit. Sammy Reynolds is pretty deep in left for Kaylee Mudge and her ability to hit it the other way. Now, to be fair, season, one more ball to force in a run right here, and Mudge will swing away and yank it foul. So 3-2 for Kaylee Mudge. Small sample size, but quite good with the bases loaded this season. 5 out of 7 plus 2 bases loaded walks. And Mudge will elevate one to center field. Leonard tags from third. Alchin's throw is into third base, and runner at second, Dak got maybe a little too big of a lead, but Espinoza didn't throw back. So Mudge picks up a sacrifice fly, and Florida State has 2 in the second.
It's a Florida State offense that really enjoys situational hitting. They're very good at advancing runners, and sacrifice fly there by Kaylee Mudge just to get a little lift on the ball to the outfield, deep enough to score another run.
The 43rd RBI of the year. Pretty good near the top of the order for Kaylee Mudge. Now driven in 4 in this World Series alone. Janai Kerr looking to kickstart her NCAA tournament. One and one. Only 3 runs allowed in the last 23 innings for Washington. They've been pitching brilliantly since that end of the regional against McNeese, where they scored 7 runs in the 7th. Come back from down 6. They had been outscoring teams 21-1 into tonight's game.
Very tough to score against. It seemed like everybody just started to level up their game after that amazing comeback.
Sid Stewart has made a lot of visits to her pitchers so far. Before that 7th inning, and this was the regional final against McNeese, Washington had already lost to McNeese on Sunday. They trailed 6-0 going into the 7th. It was done. Season was over. And then it wasn't quite quickly. 7 runs, most of them with 2 outs. Hit .346 and pitched lockdown ball since.
Ball inside.
Inside to Kerr, it's a 5-pitch walk. Dak and Muffley will move up a base, and they're loaded for Harding.
Again, just trying to figure out this strike zone. You see a little smile from Lindsay Lopez, and in fairness to Florida State, they've done a really good job of taking close pitches, not chasing out of the zone, and Washington's going to need to do the same thing against Kat Sandercock.
Kind of forgot Kat Sandercock was still pitching. This has been such a lengthy bottom of the second. Remember, Washington loaded the bases in its half of the second. And now Kaylee Harding takes strike one, the 8th batter of the inning. Kat Sandercock, 2-0, 10-0, just chilling. Leave her alone, let her do her thing. What are you noticing with Lopez right now?
Just trying to find the strike zone is what it seems like to me. Trying to use that rise ball, and Florida State's not biting at it. Florida State being very patient.
Ball.
Tried to go off speed there. Holtorf comes in from shortstop. And they're talking to her between every pitch. Holtorf, Klingler, Stewart. There is somebody in Lindsay Lopez's ear after every one of these tosses. Harding gets her swing off and knocks it out of play. 2-2.
Yeah, I think the one thing that both of these teams have in common, actually, there's probably more than just one thing, to be fair, but one of the things that I notice is just how they communicate on defense. Both Washington and Florida State, when you watch them in between pitches, they're constantly talking to each other. They're constantly talking to their pitcher.
Two-two.
Amanda, I'm wondering, when you're in the circle, what was that communication like? Like, did it make you feel better to hear your defense behind you? How did that pump you up? Was it a factor at all?
Yeah, I just like knowing that my defense is going to have my back. That sometimes in the circle can feel really lonely, especially when you're struggling to find the strike zone and be able to throw strikes.
And there's the third strike, so Lopez gets her groove back, but Florida State takes the lead. 2 runs in the inning.
Megan told me in that postseason run in 2018, I learned how important it was to not ride the highs and lows. And she said, I saw a shot just like this on Thursday's game of Kathryn Sandercock sitting in the dugout, being zen. And I texted her a screenshot of that to let her know that's exactly what you have to do. You still have to go out and get those 3 outs, and you need to make sure you're locked in and focused to do that. And she said when Kat was a freshman, she rode the highs and the lows of the game too much. So she is so proud of what Sandercock has done. And guess what, guys? Megan King is going to be here tomorrow to cheer on her Seminoles.
Ooh.
That's awesome. Well, we can't wait to see her. They may not play tomorrow. She may have to be here to watch somebody else, because if Florida State wins, they'll get a day off and play Monday, so Megan can take her time. What a run she was on in 2018. What a run Kat Sandercock went on 2 years ago. It was interesting, too, Amanda, to hear Kat talk about her vantage point there and how she has tried to teach McKenna Reed, very talented freshman for Florida State. Kat's tried to be to McKenna Reed what Megan King has become to Kat Sandercock.
Yeah, and that's the importance of the great culture that Florida State has created under when head coach Lonnie Alameda has taken over this program. And
that ball's drilled foul by Reynolds.
You see it not only with their team, but within their pitching staff of now Kat Sandercock working with McKenna Reed and talking to a couple of freshman pitchers that are on this Florida State pitching staff. Just like whenever Sandercock was a freshman, there were a couple of freshman pitchers, and Megan King was a senior.
It's an all-staff effort. Allie Dubois, Allison Royalty, Mac Leonard have all thrown in the NCAA tournament as well. Reed got the start tonight with an inning and a third.
Well, and Kat told us too that she even called Megan King and got some advice earlier this season, just constantly in communication, and these athletes, and especially the veterans, just finding ways to get better and to learn from the people that have come before you. Try to gain knowledge and experience without having ever gone through it, but learn from others' mistakes and what they learned as strengths.
Looped into right for Reynolds. There's a base hit. Both of Washington's hits off of Sandercock have come in 0-2 counts.
You know, watching Catherine Sandercock, guys, the thing I've seen her where she's been so even keel, what stood out to me most was regionals, game 7. She's throwing a perfect game, and there's a 40-minute rain delay. And she's able to stay mentally locked in and come in and get the full 7-inning perfect game.
Yeah, did so on just 59 pitches in a game that was an elimination game for Florida State. They had lost earlier in the day to South Carolina.
Is it just me, or is Florida State like a magnet for rain delays in the postseason? I feel like it happens a lot.
Well, they do play in Tallahassee, to be fair.
Yeah. In their game against Oklahoma State this year and a couple of years ago.
Yeah, went deep into the night 2 years ago against Oklahoma State. Remember, they had to win 2 games on Saturday and 2 on Sunday as part of the old format 2 years ago. Madison Husky skies one into left field. Kaylee Mudge is there. Some pretty good swings right now for Washington against Sandercock, but they've yet to break through.
Yeah, exactly. They just need to keep doing what they've been doing. They have a really good approach at the plate, and I feel like first time through and now the second time through, they're putting together some good swings.
At the plate for Washington, number 42.
What are they doing well? What do you like about those swings?
Just seem like they're on time. They're looking for something, whether it's down or more up, like what they saw against Reed, and they're getting their barrel to it. They're on time, swinging at good pitches too.
Jalen Alchin, Washington cleanup hitter with a hard ground ball foul.
And you'll see them be very aggressive too. So when you look at Kat Sandercock's numbers, she throws 72% first pitch strike. That is the best in Division I. So you're seeing Washington go up and be very aggressive against her, knowing that they're going to get a pitch to hit early in the count.
Seven out of 7 first pitch strikes tonight, so that number's gone up. And there's a second pitch strike. Overall, 73% strikes for Kat Sandercock, and put it all together, 19 walks in 178 in the third innings. Two strikes on Alchin, the senior from Huntington Beach, California. Part-time starter the last couple of years.
Ball.
One of the many former OC Batbusters in this tournament. Jalen Alchin, that team out of California, club ball team coached by Mike Stiff. A lot of Oklahoma players, Tennessee players coming out of the OC Batbusters program. Coaches will rave about the advanced approach and teaching they get on that club team.
You can tell just Washington is not going down easy at all in this game. So tough with 2 strikes, making it very difficult for Reed earlier in this game, and now Sandercock.
Couple of two-strike fouls for Alchin. Another one. Well, they are just up there hacking at everything out of Kat's hand.
Do you think it's us? I feel like this World Series, we've drawn a lot of two-strike foul balls going back to the Oklahoma game against Nyjah Kennedy, pitching for Stanford, and now tonight. You think it's us?
Sell me on it. Why do you think it'll be us?
Because it just seems like we're here watching in person, calling the games that it's happening.
Well,
but maybe it's them. I don't know.
There are enough two-strike foul balls with us here that we should get one in the booth like BMO did earlier. We're still waiting for one. Beth with a very graceful toss down on the net as well to Kinsey Hansen. That was a nice connection. Seventh pitch coming. It's in play. Left center field. Kerr is there, and so is Mudge. They're going to have to do a little post-game recap on this one. Kaylee Mudge ended up with the second out.
It's a well-struck ball again, and Mudge and Kerr both calling it, going back on it. Two left-handed fielders out there, and Mudge comes away with it, and Kerr looks up to make sure that it was caught. Of course, center fielder usually has priority in the outfield.
They didn't look too perturbed about it. It's almost like they expected they were going to collide. Two down for Kelly Lynch.
Ball.
That's the first pitch ball going by Kat Sandercock.
Seeing her start to use that rise ball already more in these at-bats, and just kind of sailing out of the zone. Not as much of a believable pitch right now as when she's throwing her drop balls. So Washington just able to look down in the zone.
She throwing it more than you usually see her throw it this early in a game?
Yeah, you know, the more that she's gone on in her career, the more that you start to see her not even have a pattern with it. Be able to throw that rise ball earlier in the games if she needs to, be able to save it until second or third time through. So more known for that drop ball, of course. That is her go-to pitch, but that rise ball has really come along the past couple of years.
2-0 for Lynch here, who grounds one softly to Kaylee Harding, who has a cannon. Couple of flyouts, one ground out. Florida State's got it.
Goes on TikTok. But guys, these pink flames are in honor of our own Holly Rowe and her pink outfit on day one of the World Series.
How about that? That's awesome. Well, there are the pink flames for Michaela. Looking stylish with power. I mean, she hit a home run when Holly was right next to the Florida State dugout. So clearly drawing inspiration from our Hall of Fame reporter. He's vibing right now, Michaela Enfield, too. Fun player to watch. I started wearing makeup as a kid. There's a great piece that Rihanna Potke wrote in D1 Softball about how Michaela was bullied when she was younger, started wearing that makeup, really got drawn into the softball and volleyball worlds. Just a terrific athlete. She was a four-time state volleyball champion in high school, and you mentioned earlier, Lonnie Alameda said she played high-level volleyball and not high-level softball. It's from the Panhandle in Florida, a little town called Sneads of a little less than 2,000 people. Guessing every TV in Sneads is probably tuned in to Michaela right now.
Ball.
Working on Lindsay Lopez here in the third inning for Washington. Got 2 outs in relief in the second. And a chopper will sneak through. Edenfield powers a single into center for her first hit tonight.
And Lindsay Lopez fell behind in this count against Edenfield again. Tried to throw her curveball for the first pitch strike, and it was close, but Edenfield gave a good take. That pitch was a little bit off the plate. That one not even close. And then on a 2-0, Lopez has to come more over the middle of the plate with a curveball, and Edenfield gets the top of it, drives it right into the ground, swings hard, and able to use the ground for a base hit.
Her potential is pretty scary. Michaela Edenfield, only a sophomore. Her 6th hit of the tournament precedes Devin Flaherty, who shows bunt and takes low. Flaherty started the 2-run second by smashing a double to the wall in right center. Eight for 20 in her NCAA tournament, Devin Flaherty. Also 2 walks, hit by a pitch. On base percentage of .455 in the tournament coming into the game. There's a bunt laid down foul. On the infield for Klingler. The NCAA Women's College World Series Championship Series begins Wednesday at 8 Eastern on ESPN. For more information and game times, go to NCAA.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. We've been looking for those letters.
Yeah, we saw them last year. They're in a different place.
Yeah, they're on the concourse. We took some very fashionable poses with them. And I guess they were too fashionable to replicate.
It's a nasty changeup right there, a pitch that Lindsay Lopez needs to start finding the rhythm with, start finding the feel.
Feels like she finally has an actual mix of pitches late in the year. Throws it again. That's got some serious tilt. Up the ladder for strike 3.
Now went right at Mac Leonard with 2 changeups to start the at-bat, including this one before the strikeout pitch. This back-to-back changeup then set up her rise ball for the strikeout up and out of the zone. But Mac Leonard, lefty-on-lefty matchup, did not see the ball well out of the hand of Lopez, and Lopez gets a K on the rise.
2 down, Hallie Waycaser. I suspect as a pitcher you enjoyed a little slow, fast sequence.
Yeah. You know what? I just like to see Lopez just start to grab command of that changeup. That's a must-have pitch, especially with how Florida State is seeing the ball in this game. Both teams just seem to be having a great approach at the plate, very confident at bats that we're seeing from both sides. And you hear them trying to pick it too. In fact, it seemed like on the 3rd strike to the at-bat of Mac Leonard, they had yelled sit, thinking that that she was going to throw it 3 times in a row, but went to something firmer.
Another 0-2 coming. Waycaser chases one and stays alive. Hallie Waycaser missed her freshman year with a torn ACL, same as her teammate Janai Kerr.
This hair, by the way, with the French braids and the color through it, very popular right now.
Is that right?
Yes, it was.
That's very popular right now for Lindsay Lopez. Bend it like Lindsay.
Florida State head coach Lonnie Alameda. And Lonnie, we saw Devin Flaherty lead off that second inning, spark your offense with a double. I know you had a tough conversation with her after last season. How has she responded this year to be this player for you?
Oh, she's been incredible. I think leadership is really hard, and you know, when you want leadership on your team, you've got to challenge the daily actions of it. And Dev's wanted to be a leader, wanted to be a captain for this team, and that's really hard to do day in and day out. And I'm super proud of her. And we have honest conversations with all our kids, and I'm just really proud. You wouldn't be here if you weren't able to lead yourself, you know, and lead the team.
We also were talking about Catherine Sandercock and how she can stay so even keel in the big moments, not ride the highs and lows. How has that benefited her in a fifth year?
Well, I think, you know, experience in general. Any veteran pitcher or player knows what this feels like being here. But she's really good with her routine. I think she works her breathing routine to keep her calm. She wants these moments. You know, it doesn't scare her. She really wants to be in these moments. So, again, proud as a coach, you know, to see them earn these moments and be able to be successful in them.
Thanks, Lonnie.
Thank you.
And Courtney, I think a big part of why Kat Sandercock has earned these moments is because she's always hunting an edge. She's hunting inches by learning that rise ball, and also came in to Florida State with really good mechanics. This is her back on the left in 2021 at the Women's College World Series, throwing that drop ball. And this is this year, saying drop ball inside to a lefty. But a mechanic that I noticed is this glove hand. Look at how much better in 2021 her mechanics are with her glove hand to keep it in line with her body to get more downward movement with that drop ball.
And a drop ball is dropped right back to her off the bat of Espinoza.
And being able to keep that glove hand more in line. She is a student of the game. She's always working on her craft. And when you're hunting at inches in an edge, a little thing like that with your glove hand and working on your mechanics can make a big difference in terms of the velocity of your pitch, the movement of your pitch, and the command of your pitch. But a good adjustment. They look very similar from year to year. You have to look deep to find the difference.
And she is a kind of mad scientist, Kat Sandercock. So she's always looking deep for an edge, for a mechanical tweak. That's up high to Riley Holtorf as she tried to go off speed. Holtorf, one of Washington's 3 hits with a second inning single against Sandercock.
Getting some good swings off it in the Women's College World Series. And take a look at her spray chart here with that home run that she hit a couple of days ago over the left field wall. RBI single more toward the center of the field, but really using that left side of the field with a home run and a couple of singles. More of a pull hitter, but her swing has looked really good.
4 for her first 4 to start this World Series.
We just saw where her hits have come more on the pull side, and when you look at where Janai Kerr is playing in center field, more shaded toward the right side of the field and right center field, really opening up that left center field gap. Holtorf with that pull power, but Florida State playing a shift toward the right side.
And Holtorf pulls it to third. And she's finally retired in this tournament. 2 groundouts in the 4th for Kat.
I think you're seeing her get more and more comfortable as this game has gone on. And you're seeing that on both sides. Both teams, both pitchers just defensively settling into this game.
She's retired 5 in a row since Sammy Reynolds' 3rd inning single. Kinsey Fiedler will try to beat Sandercock with 2 down.
And Kevin, I remember talking to Lonnie Alameda before our ESPN tournament in Clearwater that happens in February. So we get a good look at a lot of teams early on in the season. And she talked to us about Kat Sandercock and how she wanted her to hit the weight room. And she herself, Sandercock, wanted to hit the weight room to be stronger at the end of the season, to be as strong as she could be toward the end of the season. And I I think that you're seeing that hard work in the weight room pay off in the postseason, pay off with her endurance and her strength.
Told us the plan all along was to have her most experienced pitcher have that juice in her legs at the end of the season. Has not allowed a run now in the World Series. Sandra Cock, 7 1/3. A lot of teams get here with great pitching. In fact, every team that made it here had at least one great pitcher. But what does it look like when you make it? What kind of mileage have you put on the vehicle when you get to Oklahoma City? And for Florida State, they've been able to limit the wear and tear of Kat Sandercock. Fiedler grounds it foul.
And it was something that what you were just talking about, just kind of being able to go into this season with the mindset that they were going to use their complete pitching staff. And it's one thing to say it, Kevin, but I think it's another thing to actually execute that and stick with it as the season has gone on and be okay with taking some bumps.
To second base. That ball a couple of bumps off the dirt. Kat Sandercock is rolling. 6 in a row retired.
Presented by Capital One. Washington and Florida State battling right now. We're joined by Washington head coach Heather Tarr. And coach, what have you noticed about your hitters' battles with Kathryn Sandercock in this game?
Yeah, I mean, she has a good balance of pitches, and we're just trying to compete and figure out which one to hit. I like where we're at. We just got to probably see a few more pitches and hit a few more well.
Lindsay Lopez has come in this game. What stood out about how she's evolved out there so far?
It's neat to see her. She's confident with what she has. She's got a good mix of pitches too. So we'll see what we can do here on in the later innings.
Thanks, coach.
Thank you.
Heather Tarr, national championship coach for the Washington Huskies 2009. Lindsay Lopez has pitched well in relief. I really like what Heather Tarr said about Lindsay Lopez to us this week, which is that Tricia Ford did a great job with her at Arizona State. She really matured there. We're a different program. She's matured a little differently here, but gave a lot of credit to Lindsay Lopez's first program, her first head coach. Tricia Ford, who is now the head coach at Texas A&M. And Lopez, who's excelled here at Washington. Reminder that the transfer portal is, not always an evil thing with kids quitting programs and this and that. You have a situation where a coach leaves, Lopez finds a new home. Did well at Arizona State. She's doing well here.
And Lindsay talked a lot to us about that rise ball that has developed this season. Threw it back-to-back pitches to Katie Dack right there, clearly knowing the game plan of how they want to pitch her, going that pitch a couple of times in a row, and you're starting to see her get really comfortable with her changeup, comfortable with that rise ball, getting some more swings and misses than what she did earlier in her appearance.
Struck out the last two.
Ball.
Went to a rise, a third straight pitch.
Gotta go, gotta try it again, right?
I mean, she's got different sequences working now. You went change, rise to Leonard. She goes rise, and then another rise to Dack. 34 pitches in, starting to find that groove. Trying to keep this a 2-0 game.
I was just about to say, the changeup's coming, right?
That is filthy.
3 rises in a row, and then she sits her down with that changeup. And this pitch, she is just starting to get in rhythm with, being able to throw it for a strike and get swings and misses. Katie Dack just stunned by that pitch, anticipating a rise. And that's the thing too, that changeup right there was a little bit more up in the zone. So I think out of the hand, Katie Dack was expecting a rise ball to continue to move up and out of the zone, but it changed speeds and stayed more down for Looking K.
Now this is fun to watch. Maybe not if you're a Florida State fan, but if you're a neutral, if you're a Washington fan, Lindsay Lopez is throwing strike after strike. Last 4 hitters, 12 pitches, 11 strikes. 3 straight strikeouts into Josie Muffley. Muffley gets a piece of one into right field. And that's caught by Madison Husky. Claimed the opener in that series yesterday. Yankees lead 5-1 in the second game tonight. We're all waiting on Giants-Orioles, though. Kaylee Mudge with the first pitch flyout. Lindsay Lopez is cruising. But Florida State has the lead. 3 innings to go to try to stay. The loser of this game has a quick turnaround. They'll have to play Stanford tomorrow, 2 Central, 3 Eastern on ABC. The winner gets the night off and will be 1 win away from the Champ Series. Oklahoma State, Tennessee tomorrow night. And then Oklahoma waiting for the winner of the Stanford game against either Washington or Florida State. A whole lot still to be determined. You know, Oklahoma needs to win only 1 of 2 games on Monday to advance to the championship series for a chance at a 3rd straight national title. And the winner of this game will also be 1 win from the Champ Series. Florida State wins, and they'll be on the verge of a 2021 rematch. FSU and Oklahoma would both be 2-0. Washington, 2009 national champions, here for the 4th time in the last 6 years. They reached the semis in 2019. Hoping they have a late comeback in their bats against Kat Sandercock. 9-1-2 for Heather Tarr's Huskies here in the 5th with Sydney Stewart.
I don't feel like we've seen any lead changes in the World Series just yet. Maybe tonight.
Utah, Washington, I guess 1-0 went to 4-1.
Yeah, that's true.
Washington's going to have to break some history here. They want to win this game. Never defeated Florida State. 2 losses in the Champ Series in 18. They've had a couple of 8-0 games. Oklahoma State lost 8-0 to Florida State. Won 8-0 against Utah last night. Oklahoma's won 2-0 and 9-0. Tennessee led throughout against Alabama. Shutout yesterday, and Stanford, Bama. I guess we've only had one single solitary lead change.
Oh.
2 years ago, it felt like we had one in every game.
It did. That was a good one back in 2021.
Last year there weren't a ton until that crazy Monday night. Texas beating Oklahoma State twice. We're still waiting for the World Series to reach full chaos energy. We'll get there at some point. 3-2 to the 9-hitter Stewart, who swings and drives the ball into center, and Janai Kerr has a beat on it. Another warning track flyout for Washington.
Their best chance for Washington was back in the top of the 2nd inning, and they had to bring in Kat Sandercock in that same inning, but had a chance with the bases loaded.
Now batting first baseman number 8, Bailey Klingler.
Bailey Klingler had that bases loaded chance, hit a pretty sharp line drive, but flied out to Waycaster to end the 2nd inning. First team All-American in the box, 2nd teamer in the circle.
Ball.
18 Washington batters tonight, not a single strikeout against Reed or Sandercock. Few more flyouts than we're used to seeing from Kat as well. Is that a location thing? Is it a Washington approach thing?
I think it's more of a Washington approach thing. They're having some good at-bats off of her, especially when she first came in.
Klingler on the ground. That was played well by Flaherty, who took her time, and Klingler is 0 for 2 with a walk.
Felt like she kind of got stuck in between hops, so she dropped back to get a better angle and get better hop, and living on the edge there, and you can tell with her face a bit too. But what matters is the out. You'll see her take this step right there to try to get a better angle and a better hop, and still got an out. It looked dicey there for just a quick second.
Sammy Reynolds, a rare swing and miss against Sandra Cock. Only the 4th swing and miss induced by Sandra Cock, who has been hunting first pitch strikes of any kind so far. In the air to left. Playable for Mudge. Inning over for Florida State. Sandra Cock rolling. 9 in a row retired in a 2-0 game. Highest percentage of any major conference. It's that number at the bottom that still surprises. Florida State, one of only 2 ACC teams since the format changed to make the Women's College World Series. Along with Virginia Tech. Janai Kerr in the left field, and an out for Lindsay Lopez to begin the bottom of the 5th inning. Excited to see Stanford tomorrow on ABC. We'll see if it's Nyjah Kennedy or Alana Vaughter who gets the start, but the Cardinal coming off a shutout of Alabama to knock out the Crimson Tide on Friday. I feel like every game's been a shutout in this World Series.
Yeah, I mean, the way that Nyjah Kennedy pitched, well, she's been in both games actually, but that game against Oklahoma was just something.
Got a chance for a rematch. The winner of the Stanford game tomorrow, which again is Stanford against the loser of this team, will face Oklahoma. Neither of these teams have faced Oklahoma yet. Stanford already has that 2-0 loss.
So much fun to watch Kennedy step into the circle. It's just like, doesn't seem like, I mean, I think she has some nerves, but you can't ever tell that she has any nerves when she pitches. And going back to the Pac-12 tournament and regionals and super regionals, she's just been so good with such a small ERA, the best ERA in the country.
National Freshman of the Year, .52. He's given up 3 runs once this year, gave up 2 to Oklahoma. The only reason she was not an All-American is she was just barely shy of the innings number to qualify. And that's in part because she was shut down for maintenance for a few weeks in the middle of the season. But, you know, National Freshman of the Year, nothing to sneeze at. Elena Vaughter was named an All-American, but they really have 2 All-American quality pitchers.
Yeah, deep pitching staff that they have, and
a pop-up from Harding. Lindsay Lopez has been thrown like an All-American in relief.
but I think that's why if you're them, you don't panic too much that you are in the elimination bracket and continuing to play elimination games, because you know you have a deep pitching staff. Just starting to see that more and more, just not relying on one pitcher. Even you look at Washington and they use Lindsay Lopez, Ruby Malin, Kelly Lynch, Brooke Nelson, a lot of different arms that they've relied on the postseason as well.
I wonder if they play tomorrow, would they start Lindsay Lopez, who's pitched in relief of Malin both games and has pitched better. Got a strike to Michaela Edenfield. Malin started inning in the third, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 1 strikeout. Lopez 3 in the third, 1 hit, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts.
Everybody clap your hands.
Struck out looking in the first, singled through the middle in the third, Edenfield. The last Seminole to reach base. And she floats one into left field, right into the glove of Reynolds. 1, 2, 3 innings galore. Nobody's reached base season after graduating. It's got a reluctant friend as well in there. Danielle Watson, great Seminole, is here as well. Nice traveling support for Florida State. And you heard Beth Mowat say it on the 10th try, Florida State. Their 10th World Series appearance, they finally broke through. This year, World Series berth number 12, their 5th under Lonnie Alameda. Madison Husky on the first pitch of the 6th inning. Will get on base, try to make it second, and after the last 15 batters combined in the game were retired, Husky has the Huskies' first hit since the 3rd.
Again, these Husky hitters know that they're going to see a pitch to hit early in the count because she loves to throw a first pitch strike. And this is even on a changeup, and Madison Husky is on time with it, recognizes it, a pitch more up in the zone, and she's just not fooled at all. That's exactly what Washington needs late in this game. Try to get a rally started.
9 for 23 now with a couple of doubles in the tournament. And the tying run is up with nobody out. Jalen Alchin against Catherine Sandercock. Alchin first pitch swinging as well. Sandercock had retired the last 9. Lindsay Lopez of Washington has retired 9 in a row as well. Last base runner had been Eden Field's 3rd inning single for Florida State. Oh, 2 for Alchin. Kelly Lynch waiting. Huskies team that was down 1-0 yesterday got the last 4. Couple of come from behind wins in this NCAA tournament.
Ball inside.
Alchin able to hold up there on ball 1.
That is riding a fine margin there on that inside corner with her drop ball, a pitch that we showed earlier on that she is very comfortable pitching a drop ball to the inside corner to a left-handed hitter. She loves to go to that side of the plate and use that drop ball. Always has.
Does that set up anything?
Maybe a little changeup outside. But got to keep it low with that 1-2 count. It just got hit, but try it. Goes back to it. Yes.
How about that?
So much confidence on that side of the plate, inside to a left-handed hitter. I don't even know why I second-guessed it that she was going to go to something else, because she can go to this pitch. She knew she could get her. Those back-to-back drop balls inside. The first one kind of curved more, stayed more up. This one has more true drop ball right over the top. A strikeout with the runner in scoring position. Her first strikeout of the game.
First for either Sandercock or Reed, and 22 batters faced. What a time for it. Now the tying run with 1 out is Lynch. Strike 1 to Kelly Lynch. 3 home runs on the season. Such a highly touted player coming out of high school in Newton, Georgia. He's the Gatorade National Player of the Year. Shared the cover of Sports Illustrated with Bobby Witt Jr. Been a little bit of an up and down career, but she really has a big bat.
Ball.
And she's given herself a lot of room on that inside corner, a little bit more off the plate. That first pitch that Sandercock threw was a drop ball inside that she got for a strike, going to that side of the plate. 2 pitches in a row.
Olivia hoping for a rally.
so comfortable with that pitch on both sides of the plate. And big shift on too with Josie Muffley, their shortstop, playing well up the middle of the field. You see her here, really opens up the left side through the 5-6 hole.
And back outside. A whole lot of moving parts here in this chess match. Where is Lynch standing in relation to the plate? Where is Muffley shifted? Where is Sandercock trying to attack her?
You see Hardy now too, just playing well back behind third base, trying to guard that hole on the 5-6 side.
Cat's gone away a couple of pitches in a row here. She'll go back out there. Lynch drags it foul. How much as a pitcher here do you try to do what you do versus how much do you change based on a batter making adjustments in the box?
Definitely notice that, but I like to stick with my strengths, but definitely pay attention to where they are in the box. If she does go back inside, it has to be a little bit more off the plate.
She stays away and runs it full.
As a close pitch, and Sandercock really wanted this to be a called strike, but Kelly Lynch with good eye here notices that that pitch is going to continue to move down and be a ball. One in at bat here between Sandercock and Lynch.
An at bat that will feature at minimum 7 pitches. Lynch the tying run for the Huskies with 1 out in the 6th. And Lynch drives it through the left side. Base hit Kelly Lynch, and the throw came into second. Huskies will score. Kaylee Mudge threw it into the middle of the infield, and Madison Husky had her eye on the ball. Washington gets a run out of it.
What an at bat by Kelly Lynch. Took some close pitches, battle it to a full count, and we saw Josie Muffley playing more up the middle of the field, but then went in a full count. Josie Muffley scooted over, and she still was able to just smash it through the left side. The 5-6 hole, this is the question. Why did she just immediately go to second base? It's almost like she forgot that Husky was there, just didn't even look at her. Maybe no communication on the Florida State infield. Maybe she didn't hear, unsure, but Washington gets on the board.
It'll go down as an RBI single for Lynch. She's removed for a pinch runner, Avery Hobson. 9 for 10 as a base stealer.
Okay, here we go.
What an unusual sequence. There is no RBI actually on the play, which is the appropriate way to score that because Husky had stopped at third. And now the 5th-year senior Silent Rain Espinoza with a tying run at first. Espinoza shows bunt, and it's a ball.
First time through the order when hitters see Kat Sandercock, they bat 148. Second time through, that average against her goes to 236, so it was up almost 100 points against her. We've seen good at bats by Washington almost every single inning of this game.
Espinoza 1 for 2. Let's go back to the hit by Lynch. Watch the shortstop Josie Muffley after this ball gets into left field.
You say you see her being big, trying to be the relay there, and just it's like Mudge didn't even see her, just went directly to second base. And
so the question of is that on the outfielder or the infielder for communication? That gives you your answer right there.
Good point.
That's just off the plate. 2-1 for Espinoza. Lonnie Alameda is going to come out with a 2-1 count. Thought we might be on track for our 6th shutout in 8 games at the World Series. Washington has punctured that. And these quality at-bats by the Huskies are finally starting to break through. Most comeback wins in the Pac-12 this season, including that regional final when they were down 6-0 with 3 outs to go. So 2-0 with 5 outs to go, that's no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you always believe in a late inning comeback and a 7th inning comeback. If you wear that purple color, if you're a fan of this team, if you're in that dugout, you know you can after that.
A little slapper to third. Harding bobbled it and then threw an absolute dart. Tying run to second on out number 2.
She knows she can take her time because she has such a good arm. She started as a catcher, actually. Remember trying to fill that spot at third base when Sydney Sherrill graduated. They had Jesse Warren before that. They have a history of such good third basemen.
I think Avery Hobson just took third with nobody paying attention. When she went over to third is the question of whether it was a dead ball or not. Lonnie Alameda's coming out to try to figure it out.
Yeah, and you see here too that for a second, well, she was out of the circle and Sandercock out of the circle there, and so Hobson runs, and that's exactly what Sandercock likes to do, is get out of that circle. When she's in the circle, it's a dead ball. When she is out of the circle, it can be a live play like that.
And how about this? Florida State is going to intentionally put the go-ahead run on base. They will walk Riley Holtorf to face Kinsey Fiedler. What do you think of this move?
I mean, she's been hot. You can tell that Florida State knows it. And you mentioned before how Fiedler has not had a lot of at-bats, wasn't hot late in the season. So just kind of talking it through as I decide my answer, but I think this is a good call with the way that Holtorf is swinging the bat.
4 for 5 in the tournament. Rarely do you see a team intentionally put the go-ahead run on base. But with 2 outs in the inning, that is exactly what Florida State will do.
And Kevin, you think about that extra 60 feet being so important in this game that Hobson advanced to third base on, and that's just talking in the dugout and knowing the scouting report against the pitcher and knowing that what Sandercock likes to do in her routine is get out of that circle. Been seeing it all game, and that's just paying attention as a pinch runner and knowing what you want to do.
All right, we're going to get a timeout for each team. Looks like a pinch hitter is coming for Washington. Olivia Johnson is out of the dugout with a bat. There she is to, it appears, bat for Kinsey Fiedler.
And it did look like whenever Hobson was at second base that just the play was dead, and just it's a gut feeling and knowing and just knowing the game, softball IQ, knowing that when the pitcher is out of the circle you can advance. And look, we're used to seeing Florida State do that on the base pass against other teams, and now Washington beating them at their own game with advancing 60 feet like that.
So anything in the dirt, be very aware. Remember, this is a Washington team that a couple of games ago had a steal of home from Brooklyn Carter. So they'll send Olivia Johnson up as a pinch hitter. Had a sacrifice fly yesterday for her first RBI of the NCAA tournament. Only one for her last 10, dating back to May the 6th. But it is Johnson to get the call for Fiedler, with a pinch runner Hobson representing the tying run at third. Holtorf the go-ahead run at first. 2 down in the 6th. 2-1 Florida State. And Johnson takes ball 1.
It's a close pitch, and Florida State fans, even the young ones, can't believe it. Thinking that's a strike.
I didn't come here with those French braids to not get that call, is what she's thinking. Olivia Johnson this year just 1 for 10 versus drop balls, which is Kat Sandercock's specialty. Hi. 1-1.
You can tell that Sandercock missed her spot on this pitch. Watch where Edenfield sets up toward the inside corner. She's moving in. This pitch bleeds back over the middle of the plate. Would have been a good pitch to hit if you're Johnson. She takes it, and Sandercock gets lucky.
But it looked like she was taking all the way.
Yeah. Maybe taking until she gets a strike, but good pitch to hit right there.
Will she get a better one than that?
Ball.
Inside, did she go? No, according to Tom Meyer.
Goes back to that inside corner. They went to check right away. She holds back. Good call there.
An 11 home run season as a freshman, Olivia Johnson. It's a Pac-12 all-freshman pick last year. Not quite the same this season, but a chance for her signature moment in purple. Johnson with a ground ball to second. True hop Flaherty, and the inning is over. Washington scores 1 but strands 2. And Oklahoma State, Tennessee tomorrow night. The winning team gets to enjoy a nice breezy Sunday. The winning team is 1 win away from that return to the championship series. Washington was last there in 2018 against Florida State. The Seminoles made a return trip 3 years later, falling to Oklahoma in 2021. Will we have a 2021 rematch?
Ball.
Right now the stars are aligned with Oklahoma in the winner's bracket and Florida State 3 outs away from getting there. But the big dogs are coming up for the Huskies in the 6th. Madison Husky doubled and scored in that 6th inning to make it 2-1. And we're going to see Stewart, Klingler, and Reynolds at the bats for Washington in the 7th. So can the Noles get some insurance? Try to do so with Flaherty, Leonard, and Waycaser.
She's the one that started them back in the 2nd inning with a double whenever they scored those 2 runs.
A strike from Lindsay Lopez, who's retired 9 straight. Florida State 3rd in the nation in walks. Only 1 tonight. Flaherty into center field. Her 2nd hit of the game, and both to lead off an inning.
Flaherty has grown her leadership inside the clubhouse and has grown her leadership in moments like this as a veteran player for Florida State. Keeps her hands inside of that ball. You had a great look there of her swing on that. Sydney Sherrill absolutely loves it. She is quite animated, knowing the importance of getting that leadoff hitter on in a 1-run game.
Mac Leonard returns to the game after Bethany Keene had come in to play defense at first.
Ball.
There goes Flaherty. She is safe at second base. Her 31st steal of the year in 32 tries.
And just because it's late in the game and it's a one-run game, they're not going to go away from their game plan. They're not going to go away from what helps them win. And for them, it's speed, taking extra bases, stealing bases, 129 stolen bases for this Florida State team on the year.
And now Leonard will square and drop down a beaut of a bunt, and the ball gets away. Flaherty scores, and Florida State steals the run back. Mac Leonard's first bunt of the season couldn't have come at a more opportune time.
Yeah, and it's her best at bat. Looked like she finally saw the ball well out of the hand of a Washington pitcher. That looked good in her first two at bats. They square her around. She puts it down beautifully, but Fiedler not able to come away with that throw. That throw's not perfect, but it's a throw to me that looks like it should be caught, especially in a tight game like this. And because Flaherty stole second base, it put on the sacrifice bunt, and with the error, she scores with her wheels.
It scored a sacrifice bunt and an E1. You could probably split that error between the pitcher and the second baseman. This bunt is fouled away by Hallie Waycaser. That is Florida State at its finest. Yes, they double. Yes, they homer. But they can also just slash it to death with bunts and steals and small ball. And they get the 2-run lead back with a chance for more.
Even earlier in the year, Lonnie Alameda said, we don't really want to rely on extra base hits and doing damage with the long ball. We want to have something else that we can go to. And you see them figure out ways to score runs with their speed, execution, situational hitting.
Chop to the left side, and the play is made at third by Holtorf. A base running mistake there. Autumn Belvi, the pinch runner, runs herself into an out.
Yeah, and Washington can play really good defense. Riley Holtorf, a lot of confidence, good communication on this throw, and you see where when she gets the ball, she knows exactly what she wants to do with it. Perfect throw to third base for that lead out.
Scored 6-5, and Waycaser is aboard at first. This is Bethany Keene batting. Keene did come into the game defensively. She'll bat here in the spot of Katie Dack. It was the designated player spot.
Just so big after Washington gets on the board in the top of the 6th inning to get that run back so quickly.
It's only Florida State's 14th sack bunt of the year. It's pretty hard to believe. Keene muscles one into right center field, and it's not caught. It popped out of the glove of Olchin. There's a mess on the base pass, so they thought it was caught. Waycaser stopped at second. Keene had to retreat to first. She was almost all the way to second.
The beautiful swing by Keene. She hit that ball on the nose, and it was in the air so long. Both Olchin and Husky were just going so hard for it in that gap, and it hits off of Olchin's glove. She had it for just a second, but couldn't hold on to it. And because Waycaser had to backtrack thinking that she had caught it, then she had to take a couple of steps back, and I'm wondering if Keene passed her in just a little messy situation on the base pass, because she had to hold up to see if Olchin had that ball in her glove. You see too, when she comes back, she misses second base. That's a whole other thing, and then that is close business right there. Gets back to second base.
Kaylee Rafter, the volunteer assistant coach at first, screaming and pointing. The umpires will get together to try to sort this out. We'll bring in Christy. Christy, what are you seeing on this whole mess?
Yeah, I think the umpire, Tom, got this correct. The batter runner slammed on her brakes and did not actually cross that lead runner. So that's a good call by the umpire, but that's what they're talking about.
When you're in the fall in the weight room and doing a lot of agilities and quick sprints and doing some cone work, short work, I mean, that's what it's all about right there, slamming on the brakes. I mean, this is what you train for right here. Look at how she just slams it on, and it's so close, trying to keep her arms back behind her. That was almost a disaster for Florida State. Again, Keene ripped that ball.
There's been the good, the bad, and the ugly of base running in this inning. 2 on, 1 out, Josie Muffley. Muffley had the first RBI of the game with her second inning single.
And that play too, that ball hit to right center field was in Alchin's glove, and I think that if Husky is not going so hard for that at the same time, that maybe she even gets just a little bit more underneath it, able to hold on to it, not worried about a collision. Both players going so hard for that ball, wanting that second out.
Ball. Ball.
3-1.
That changeup that Lopez was throwing so well back in the third and fourth innings, had a couple of strikeouts on that pitch. It's just kind of come and go within at bats. Looks so sharp in the middle of her outing with that pitch and her rise ball.
Muffley belts it, and this one is caught, and it's going to be a double play. Redemption for Husky, which was out of the glove of Alchin. If Hallie Wakecaser is running and sees the ball hit the grass, maybe she gets to third or scores. She doesn't. It remains 3-1. And the Huskies have 9-1-2 coming up against Kat Sandercock. First pitch got a low strike to Sydney Stewart.
I feel like we have seen some uncharacteristic mistakes from Florida State when you really think about it. I think that's one. Maybe Keene thought that there were 2 outs. She was running hard, or maybe she thought there was one, that ball would get down, but that's a base running mistake. And then, yep, Kaylee Mudge throwing that ball into second when there was a play at home.
What? 0-2 for Stewart. Sixth inning, Kat Sandercock gave up a run on a couple of hits, stranded runners at first and third with a 2-1 lead. A game she did not start, a game she entered in the second inning, with former teammate Danielle Watson now acting as team photographer behind her.
Ball.
I think she's a photographer, and Sydney Sherrill is the lead cheerleader, head cheerleader.
She's got her Players Weekend jersey on. Florida State does once a year. They put nicknames on there. D. Watt on the back. There's Sid, who's leading the K-time chant you always hear with 2 strikes and tally.
Ball. Outside.
Trying to go to that outside corner a couple of times within this at bat, and Sydney Stewart has a really good take. That pitch continued to travel a bit off the plate. The fans wanted it, as they do even on their home field. They want it here, and
Sydney, Danielle, and the girl with the French braids is a power trio right now. 80th pitch in relief. Stewart pops it up. Edenfield will not have a play.
case he doesn't come back.
Remember, the winner of this game gets tomorrow off and would play Monday against the Oklahoma State-Tennessee winner, needing to only win one of a potential 2 games to advance to the championship series. The loser plays tomorrow at 2 o'clock Central against Stanford. The loser gets Nyjah Kennedy and/or Elena Vaughter.
Ball.
3-2 to Stewart.
See at bat that you need right here from a freshman. Taking some close pitches.
It's going to be the 18th pitch she sees in 3 plate appearances, Sydney Stewart. .417 on base percentage, down in the 9th spot. Just trying to get on base, give Klingler a chance to tie it. The 5th-year senior against the 1st-year Husky. Sandra Cock to Stewart, pitch number 8, top of the 7th. Up the middle off of Sandra Cock. Muffley will not have a play. Washington will have an opportunity to tie it.
Great at bat by Stewart to find a way to get on for the top of the order to come up with a runner on base.
Heather Tarr will send in a pinch runner at first. Even though this isn't the tying run, Megan Vandegrift is in to prevent a possible easy force at second. And remember that McNeese rally a couple of weeks ago? Heather Tarr specifically pointed to Megan Vandegrift, who came on as a runner, beat out a potential play at second on a ground ball from Bailey Klingler, and that kept the inning alive. So you have the same scenario here, not quite the same, but Klingler batting Vandegrift at first in case there's a tight play at second. Klingler, the tying run.
Ball.
Will take one a little low.
How about the fact, Kevin, that was just Sydney Stewart's 3rd hit with 2 strikes this year. She was 2 for 19 with 2 strikes. Found a way to get it done when her team needed her the most.
Bailey Klingler, who can really drive him in. 3rd most RBIs among active Division I players. 2 5th-year seniors. And a high strike there from Kat Sandra Cock. A dozen home runs for Klingler on the year. 2nd best slugging percentage in Washington history. Klingler to the right side. That loops through. Vandegrift went back to the base, but will make it to second on a base hit for Bailey. And here come the Huskies. 2 on, none out.
Battling off a pitch on the inside corner, and she was able to beat the shift because of the fact that Devin Flaherty was playing more up the middle of the field. That's up and in on her hands, but you could tell Flaherty taking a step more toward the middle of the field, and Bailey Klingler finds a hole. She'll laugh about it. Hey, whatever it takes. Olivia, of course, loves it.
Now Heather Tarr is going to use her ace pinch runner, Brooklyn Carter, who is one of the fastest players here in Oklahoma City. She will represent the tying run at first.
You know, for not having a deep roster, just a roster of 17, I just feel like they just keep coming off the bench that have speed and wheels and the ability to take extra bases for Washington.
Isn't it amazing they have 7 non-starters? They've used 5. They only have 2 players left on the bench. But you might as well use Brooklyn Carter right now. Sammy Reynolds with nobody out, the go-ahead run for Washington. Strike one to Reynolds, up and in. Remember, against McNeese, it was Sammy Reynolds with Washington down to its final strike of the season, who had that 3-run double to tie the game in the 7th inning. Under a spectacular Oklahoma City sky, can the 5th-year senior deliver another clutch moment? Reynolds in the air to left field. Mudd started in, has the play in her sights, and that's out number 1.
That pitch was a mistake over the middle of the plate. I thought that Sammy Reynolds, with the swing that she took, was about to drive that pitch out of here.
Now batting right fielder number 9, Madison Husky.
You want to stay away from that location if you're Sandercock, or do you stay away now from trying to get up in the zone entirely after that?
Well, and I think now too, with 1 out on the board, double play opportunity, ground ball pitcher, I'm staying low in the zone with the drop ball, trying to force a double play. Pat Sandercock has the drop ball to do it.
Against Madison Husky, who had the game-winning double in the McNeese rally in back of Reynolds. 2 on, 1 out. Husky shows bunt and takes a strike. Top of the lineup, peppered with experience. A 5th-year senior in Husky who played for that World Series team in 2019. 207th game of her Husky career tonight. Husky left side, and is caught by Muffley. Double play, ball game over. Seminoles survive. Jumpin' Josie secures the win for the Noles, who will advance to Monday. They are 1 win from the Champ Series.